Welcome back to a brand new episode of Starfield with Normal People, episode 6. My name's Duane, and this is Michael. Michael, what's going on, man?
That's me. I'm feeling great.
Yeah.
Yeah, episode 6, and I'm
know.
just still really enjoying the game
I am
and
too.
everything that's going on there. So
It hasn't really dropped off for me. I still feel like I'm in the exciting first phase of figuring out all the cool things of a video game. So I'm loving it.
I just have this list of things also that are in the back of my mind constantly as I'm playing that I still
need
want
to do. Yeah, to-do
Yeah.
list. The running to-do list. I
to-do
absolutely have that as well. We're going to talk about building
The Outpost building it's very interesting. I'm early on, and I've actually been chronicling, as you know, we've been chronicling my journey into becoming an Outpost master. So the first video is actually available on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm going to link it in our show notes below.
You should do that. Yeah.
But you know what I want to start with?
What's that?
They did their first update, but it was a very, very small update.
Yeah, and it wasn't like an exciting update. Like we're adding a new
No.
weapon or this new little thing here. You know,
Not
it was
at
all
all.
just like fixes and
It's a couple fixes and I guess some stability improvements for the Series X. I couldn't tell you if,
I mean,
yeah.
from the like things I've been seeing online, not so much my own experience, but there have been people saying, "Oh, I did this very specific thing, and then my spaceship disappeared and was gone from the game."
Right.
Like a pirate didn't steal it.
It was just gone.
The ship that I spent 20 hours customizing was like vaporized. And
I had some weird stuff going on when I was doing Outpost building, but nothing too major. I'm fortunate enough that while my friends have had, I don't know, several crashes, I guess, depending on what they're doing, I've only had the game crash to the dashboard like a couple times. So
it knows if you're
deal.
an ultra fanboy such as yourself, then it limits the crashing. So the more you complain about the game, they know, and they flag you for extra hard locks and crashes.
They said, that weirdo started a Starfield podcast with his friend, so don't
limit his crashes.
Yeah, don't have him crash as much.
Right. I did have a hard lock. I wasn't doing anything noteworthy. I think it was in the lodge, and I turned and suddenly just hard lock.
You turned too fast, Duane.
Yes, I know. I was pushing the limits on my 3070 or whatever I've got.
In addition to putting out this small update, they told the community, here is what we are working on for an upcoming update.
Yeah, and then they didn't tell the community, but the community still found out the secret Microsoft document leak.
Oh, yeah.
With all the future Bethesda plans.
Oh, man. And apparently, I guess a lot of that has changed because that's an old document.
Sure it is.
But
sure it is.
I mean, it kind of confirmed something that it was a rumor that they're doing an Oblivion remaster,
right?
Which I'm excited about.
Yeah, and also that PS5 people are just screwed for the long haul.
Oh yeah, sadly,
you're not getting Bethesda latest hits. You can play the old ones. To be fair, you can play Skyrim, right?
We all play Skyrim again. I mean, we didn't know, but everyone suspected that Starfield was planned to come out for PS5, and this document leak sort of confirmed that yes, it was originally going to go to PS5.
Mm-hmm. That's what makes it just that much more insulting. It was planned. It was ported probably.
It was
to some
twisting
degree.
the knife. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's a copy that exists that will run on PS5 out there probably.
Maybe it's in
Todd Howard's closet.
It's
next to the spacesuit.
To the spacesuit. I was going to say it's in the vault with the Ark of the Covenant from Indiana Jones, but I would say probably Todd Howard's closet is basically that vault. Mm-hmm. So
he lets his kids play on the PS5 version.
Oh man, that would be so funny. I would love for that to come out years later and just be like, it does exist. You just can't have it. So yeah, unfortunate for those fans. If you are a PlayStation gamer, and I'm assuming you're not listening to this, but if you are, consider getting a Series X. I see this question a lot. I see people saying, is it worth it to buy a Series X to play Starfield? To me, yes. But the question is, would you buy a system to play Mario? You know what I mean? A lot of people will buy a Nintendo Switch just to play Zelda.
I did. I bought it just for Breath of the Wild, and I don't regret it. And I've enjoyed all the other games that we've played on it. as well. So, I mean, yeah, they're going to buy an Xbox and they're going to enjoy all the Xbox games.
That's what's
it's
nice.
Worth it.
You know, and you just get the Xbox and we're not being paid
we're getting
by Xbox,
we're getting the check, right?
I wish.
Do we get our monthly check from them? Okay.
You know what? I'm going to stop talking because we do not get paid. Yeah. No, but seriously, you know, just get Game Pass and then you can play Starfield and then a bunch of other stuff. So I want to go through a few of these upcoming updates that they've confirmed are on the way and probably very soon because these don't sound difficult. So number one, they said that they are going to have some brightness and contrast controls. Pretty surprising that that's not already in there.
It is, especially because this title touted its accessibility features with like the big text and things like that. So
yeah,
brightness, I feel like that should have been a thing, but I also understand that game developers are like George Lucas in 1993 trying to get theaters on board with both sound and picture.
They tweak it exactly to what they need, and then you need to come on board with what I have created.
And I understand that from a storytelling standpoint, like you want stuff not to be visible until it is supposed to be visible. So they always have that screen at the beginning of a game. It's like adjust until you can't see the skull, you know, or can barely see it or whatever. So,
well, this next one I think is very interesting because it's an HDR calibration menu.
Okay.
It's kind of a debate right now. I've seen a lot of people saying everything looks washed out. Like I want to make the black and the shadows deeper. I agree that we should have choices, but the thing is the quote unquote washed out look, that's actually a look that they selected for the game. Like this is something it's an artistic decision that they made.
I believe it is. I mean, their art style is very specific and it's carried through on all their games. We've discussed this before, the Bethesda look, you know, the AI and the characters have it in the face, especially.
Also, Duane, you and I come from a filmmaking background and not having that super, super deep black in the shadows, kind of bringing it more washed out. That's actually easier on your eyes, especially for extended viewing.
Sure.
So especially on a game that...
Well, you want space to be the blackest of black.
Yeah.
So if you're you don't want it to be like, oh, I'm looking at my monitor, where you get that kind of like brightness thing on the blacks on your monitor. So I think it's great. Go ahead and add it. Not
controversial at all is the FOV slider. So that's going to make a lot of people very happy. And it is
you want to live
nice
in a fisheye. Fisheye lens, then go for it.
I've seen some people in some games, they will adjust their FOV to be basically a fisheye lens. And
I'm looking at my shoes as I'm walking.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that particularly, but I do agree. Like there are some games, like in the past, one of my favorite games, Far Cry 4, great game, but on the Xbox, the field of view is very narrow.
Yeah.
I mean, it can make you nauseous if the field of view is too narrow. I don't really have that problem with Starfield, but hey, if the option is there.
I haven't felt the need to micromanage any display options whatsoever. I mean, part of that is maybe I'm getting older and more blind, but it looks fantastic to me.
I saw you playing on PC. Yeah. So I've been playing on Series X. Duane is playing on PC. It looks fantastic. So your PC
I want to see
beastly enough.
See your Xbox display and just kind of compare and see what that looks like.
Yeah. I think what you'll find is, unfortunately, I do have the 30 frames per second, but it looks amazing. Like 4K, ultra detailed, and I'm glad that they went for that detail. Another big win for PC gamers is NVIDIA DLSS support.
I saw that. Upscaling?
Yeah. DLSS is upscaling. Yeah. So same as what AMD does. And of course, the game was built first for the AMD FSR upscaling. And it's unfortunate that gamers didn't have it right out of the gate, but I know that they had a deal with AMD or something, some sort of partnership. So it's not too surprising, but at least they said, hey, it's coming soon.
Wait, what does DLSS stand for? I just have to know what they actually named it. Usually it's absurd.
Deep Learning Super Sampling.
Wow.
Is what that stands
for. Deep learning, huh?
Deep learning.
Sounds like when I was out in space. I was doing some deep learning.
Yeah, there ain't no deeper learning than being out on the cusp.
Space trucking.
A big one for PC gamers as well is the 32.9 ultra-wide monitor support.
I like that.
So that's pretty cool.
Hey, if I have $2,000 burning in a hole in my pocket and I want a ultra-wide monitor, heck yeah, I want to be able to have support for that. Actually, my previous monitor, this is a newer one that I have here, but my previous one was ultra-wide.
Yeah.
21:9, I believe, is the ratio. And
okay,
support for it was lacking on big name games.
You would always have the black bars on the side, right?
Huge. Yeah, on the sides. It was a huge pain in the butt.
Yeah,
so you'd either have to download a mod, or actually YouTube was the worst offender. Like nothing displayed full screen. Like I'd buy a movie on YouTube.
Right.
I'm a weirdo, but or like the ones where you can watch ad free, or not ad free, but with ads for free.
Oh, right.
Like you ever do that? And then you have an ad blocker. What? Who said that?
Huh?
That's unethical.
We don't do that.
Free movies. You heard it here.
Well, and there's one final thing in the update that I'm very excited about. And anyone who's played the game will understand this. An eat button.
Yes.
So if you're unfamiliar or if you're new in the game, you're going to find lots of pieces of food all over the place.
You are. You're going to find them.
Yeah, they're
You're going to want to nibble on them.
Gonna want to nibble on those chunks.
Yes.
Now,
chunk hotkey is what you need. Right? Is that what I'm hearing?
It's almost like that. The problem is that food only heals you a very little bit.
It's so small. At first I was like, wait, 2 hit points is what they're going to give me
sometimes it's pretty often 5.
It's
maybe
2 to 5
or
or somewhere in that range. And it's like, although there's a perk, right? To double your food.
Oh, I believe so. Yeah.
It's in the health kind of
if you do those perks, then health. I mean, food
doubles.
might become like health packs.
It doubles every time, so I think that's why it starts small because it can be huge.
Yeah. So if you don't have those perks, food heals very little, and it adds up in weight. So if you're collecting all this food, because I remember in Skyrim there was the joke that you'd be in the middle of a dragon fight and then eat 32 wheels of cheese, to gain some health back. If you're trying to do that, you are going to increase the weight that you're carrying. So it just ends up not being worth it. You just want to leave all the food there.
Yeah.
So
now it becomes a little pointless to have all that and carry it all.
Yeah. So now in an upcoming update, there will be a button. Instead of taking the food, you just eat it right there. So it's just you're walking by a desk, somebody's old moldy sandwich is there, and you can just hit that button. Just take a bite. It's like
a highlining chunks or like speedballing chunks or something, right? Like just fast, just boom. There's a chunk. It's in my belly.
It's kill pirate, reload,
grab a chunk.
There's a chunk, eat, and fire on the next pirate. Yeah.
In between reloads, grab a chunk.
So that's it for the update. What else is going on in the community?
Michael, we both saw a really funny clip. It was like a low gravity headshot.
Yes.
And if you've seen this, you know what we're talking about. But essentially, it's a sniper to the head. And the NPC just, at first, it's like, did he hit?
Yeah.
Because it takes so long. It's literally
the headshot hits, and it's just nothing changes.
And then slowly, the poor NPC just falls backward and clearly is dead. But
it's such a funny clip, and we actually clocked it, and it takes a good 5 seconds for him to slowly fall
That's an eternity
backward.
in video game land.
And the way that this NPC falls backwards, it's almost like a trust fall. Like it's such a perfect backwards lean. Yeah.
No arm movement, just like straight back.
It was posted on Reddit by someone named Unfocused. So awesome clip. Thank you. It enriched my life quite a bit. Well, I also got to say that the community continues to impress with some of their ship builds.
Oh, it's nonstop. Just when I'm like, oh, they've done it all. They've done every possible ship build. No. I'm seeing like Battlestar Galactica. I'm seeing phallic symbols. I'm seeing just about everything.
So there's a couple that are my favorite. One is a hot rod build.
Awesome. I haven't seen this.
So this was posted on Reddit by someone named Gunshy Ghosts. And they have the full on, like it looks like it's got wheels. It has the engine sticking out of the hood.
It's painted that hot rod red too, just like Iron Man.
This character's wearing a pirate outfit, which is, the deep leather, the browns, and then the red scarf.
Sure.
And it matches so well with this ship. So
his coordination is on fleek.
And then the other one that I thought was so good, it's a gunship. But the twist is that the whole ship is literally a pistol.
It's like Megatron when he transforms into a gun. It's like my ship is just a giant gun. So that reminds me, did you see the snake?
No.
It's basically like cargo containers and a big S.
Really?
And, it flies through the sky as a snake.
That's fun. That's the Great Serpent is real.
Yes, apparently. The Great Serpent. Yeah, that's right.
Yep. So obviously I have jumped into Outpost building as a total noob, and I'm sort of just feeling around in the dark to get this thing going. However, on Reddit, someone named Jen Hughes has actually posted a very in-depth flowchart.
I need this.
For material fabrication. So that can be found on the Starfield subreddit, and I'll put a link for it in the show notes as well.
Seeing that flowchart reminded me, aren't they adding maps? That's what I heard. They're officially adding maps to the city.
You know what? I didn't see that on the list, but you're right. They did mention that in the press release.
I thought that was a great addition because a lot of people are saying, hey, it'd be really helpful to have a map. But same with this flow chart because it's very big.
Yeah.
It feels like a daunting task to jump into.
Yeah, if I look at this flowchart just by itself, I get I'm like, whoa,
feels like you're in
so much.
Chemistry class in high school for the first day. And you're like, oh, what am I getting into?
Yeah, I've seen some very impressive builds, though, that definitely are taking advantage of these tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 kind of manufacturing that you can do.
Yeah. Did you see the 100-hour manufacturing plant?
I did.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Very impressive, and it just made me want to quit the game because I will never be that good.
To be clear, somebody spent 100 hours building a manufacturing facility.
Yep.
And what is it even manufacture?
Maybe all of the things.
All the things you need.
I'm not sure, but it is such an impressive build. It is massive, and it really does look like a huge plant.
Yeah.
Like huge factory.
Like a GM, car production plant is what it looks like. Yeah.
So I know that they said that they spent 100 hours just building this thing. It makes me wonder how many hours they played the game before that and then got to a point
Only
where
2.
Now I'm going to...
They just immediately started building that.
They did the first, the intro mission. And
the rest of the game's not for me, but,
here I go.
Colonizing and...
Factorio in space. So yeah, very impressive. These things are very helpful. It's nice that the community is putting this information out there for everyone.
Yep. When you closed that, I saw the gunship again. It's shaped like a gun.
Right.
And that inspired me to create Mega Maid from Spaceballs as my next ship.
Mega Maid.
Mega Maid.
I haven't seen that yet. So you would be
I have
the
not
first.
seen any Spaceballs, ship references.
I have to
Going
say,
way back for that one.
With the Outpost building, it's one of those things where I definitely wanted to just quote unquote jump in and start. But I don't know. You kind of can't do that. You sort of go.
If you do, you waste a lot of time, right? That's kind of the feeling I get is like you'll burn a bunch of materials that you don't need to do. But I mean, is that part of the game? Isn't that kind of like part of the fun?
Part of the game. But what I found is that I got there and I was like, I want to build this and this and this, and realized I didn't have any of those materials. And so then what you need to do is you then mark those items. And so it will put a little magnifying glass next to anything that you need to grab.
So then when you see that item, then what happens?
Then you put
a magnifying
in your
glass appears on the screen.
Yep.
And then you're like, oh, I need that for my...
Yep.
Yeah.
So you'll be out in the wild or in a shop buying stuff, and it'll put that little magnifying glass next to the items. And that does help. That makes it very easy to quickly know what you need to grab.
Instead of useless...
Otherwise,
you may not.
We would be all over that pen and paper.
Oh, yeah. Notepads galore.
So also this last week, Starfield themselves, Bethesda, they released an Accolades trailer
I did see that where it's like 10 out of 10 from Game Informer and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yep. And so, you
know. Let's little pat on the back there.
Pat on
the
back.
We're very good. We're very good.
Yep. It was basically, all right, we sold a lot. We made a bunch of money.
10 million.
10 million.
You know why they sold 10 million?
Why?
There's over 1,000 planets.
Over 1,000
planets.
What?
So 10 million, that's a lot.
Have you been to all 1,000?
We should have more people listening to our podcast if there's that many people playing the game.
If there's that, what? Yeah.
Where's the other 9,999,000 of you?
Oh man, I would take one.
You would take a mere million?
Oh, a mere million. I would take just give me 10% of that.
What are we talking about?
Yeah. So we've got
the accolades trailer.
Alkaline trailer.
Alkaline Trio.
Yeah.
Great band.
Yep. Are they? I don't.
Yeah, good band.
I don't know if I've ever listened to
their
acoustic
Trio. Album.
Yeah,
it's great.
I need to give that a chance.
Hits. Yeah.
So yeah, the Accolades trailer, no big deal, but kind of cool. Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting because I was already playing the game and I was already far in the game. So I feel like I only watched it out of this curiosity to see
if you were in it. Was
spoiled.
Like Michael, 10 out of 10, greatest game ever. I started a podcast.
It said Michael was an 8 out of 10, but now a 10 out of 10
after one podcast.
What happens with a lot of these trailers is they won't reveal stuff in the early trailer. Mm-hmm. And then once the game is out, they got to lure in new people.
More liberal in terms of showing more
spoilers and stuff. But I was actually pretty happy to see that this trailer was. I don't think it had any spoilers whatsoever.
Yeah, they show Andreja just exploding into a million pieces, which is kind of a bit of a spoiler. But no, not really. I have no idea.
Too bad that happened.
Yeah, she got hit by a space chunk.
Still feels a bit raw. You know, the emotions.
I in my first playthrough, I regret not choosing her as my love interest. Oh. Yeah. I'll probably go back and play them all, though. You know what I mean? Like, all those stories in there that you want to discover.
Yeah. I like that character. She's very cool. She seems to be a fan favorite. It does bother me a little bit, her beliefs in the Great Serpent.
Sure. But each character has a flaw.
They do.
Right?
They do.
So they have, there's something about them that makes you question whether or not you should be getting into this relationship.
Except Barrett. Barrett has no flaws.
No flaws?
No.
I did not know that.
He's just a
all-around hero
of pure happiness. I'm just kidding. I'm sure. I know he's got flaws.
He's too nice.
Remember.
That's his fatal flaw. It's like, damn, just be mean once in a while. Like, you ever have that one friend who's just too nice all the time?
Yeah. They're definitely hiding something.
You just want to strangle them.
They're definitely hiding something.
Big time.
It's like I shouldn't say this, but it's like when there's a couple on social media and they keep talking about how amazing the other person is,
really
and you're
hate
like,
each other.
man, what's going on in that relationship?
They never talk outside of we're a perfect couple.
They must be struggling.
Yeah.
I know that over the last week or so, there's been a few things that came up that are nice little tips.
Yes,
that we've realized
that are not explicitly in the game. Like these are things
explained.
That people discovered and then kind of shared with the community, right?
Yeah. The first thing that came to mind was, I find this kind of funny because I did so many stealth missions for Ryujin, and it wasn't until I had finished that storyline that I realized.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, if you are doing stealth missions, take off your spacesuit. So
this giant NASA bulky suit, you're saying that makes noise when you walk around?
Yeah. Here's what's funny is, it makes sense, especially because in Skyrim, if you wore heavy armor, you were less likely to be able to do stealth because it's bulky stuff, it's heavy and it's making noise.
That's true role playing.
So there. Now in this game, in Starfield, you have the option of automatically hiding your spacesuit when you're in a village, in a city, or whatever. And the problem is that the game still counts you as wearing it. It just hides it for aesthetic.
Right. And so you're like, I don't have my spacesuit on. Well, you kind of do.
Yeah.
Still.
I'm in a tough spot because I've considered actually not hiding it and
so that you
manually, manually removing it when I'm in town. So that's something that's I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it because it'll be hidden, and then I'll go to Aquila City, and there's that guard that's like, you can take your helmet off here, and I'm like, all right, first of all, it's my life. You don't get to tell me what to do.
Kick off your shoes, buddy. Relax a little. You're making us all uptight around here with your helmet.
It just made me, like, at first I didn't like it because in my mind as I'm playing, I'm like, I'm not wearing a helmet. But technically, I was. The game counts you as wearing it. So when you're doing stealth, if you are in a breathable atmosphere, if you're, a breathable planet, take that suit off. It does affect your stealth abilities.
It does. And that made me think of another tip that wasn't explicitly in the instructions or anywhere in there is the auto hiding around corners.
Yeah.
Like when you're engaging.
Out of cover.
There used to be, did you ever play that arcade game where there was a foot pedal? It's like
Time Crisis.
Yes. And you press the foot pedal and you duck down.
So much Time Crisis.
It's kind of like that foot pedal, except it happens automatically, right? The way the mechanic works is if you're like by an edge, and you lean or you like move over and you fire, if you let off your trigger, then you should automatically duck back. Is that kind of what happens?
You sort of have mixed results, but I will say that I did discover this on my own by accident.
You did?
Yeah.
You just like, what is the game doing? You saw it doing, moving you automatically?
I was in a difficult part of the game. And so one of the rare times where I actually did need to take cover.
You were spying on Andrea. Peeking around the corner.
Seeing what she was up to. I dropped down behind cover and there were enemies shooting at me. And then you know what I think I was doing? I think I was trying to see if I could hit them without standing up and like just barely over the cover. And I popped over the wall automatically. And it was like one of those aha moments. So
yes,
I'm torn because we've talked about this, right? Where I would like the game to tell me these things.
Right.
But at the same time, when I figured it out, I was like, oh, that's cool.
There is one thing. It's not really a hidden thing. It's like now that I knew what I was doing wrong, I feel so dumb. But it's basically I'm in space. I'm in my spaceship fighting enemy ship. And it says hit 0 to use ship parts.
Right.
And I am hitting 0 and nothing is happening. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And then I'm getting blown to smithereens.
You're like, I hit it like 37 times.
Multiple fights. I went through this. And then I saw one of these videos and it's like, oh, that's O and not 0, right? I'm like, no.
Like, so, no, I did not know that.
Space font got me again.
Yeah.
But it's O, which, But there is one other tip, which is the boost pack thing, right? Like the alternate fire on the boost pack. You want to talk
about that? Because
I actually just mapped it, like literally, an hour ago. I had known about it since last week, but on the PC, it's listed under jump.
Yeah.
I am scrolling down this endless highway of a wall of text of different things I can map, and I don't see booster anywhere in there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, forget about it. I can't figure out where it is. It's not jump, right?
Yeah.
But then I realize, so when you're boosting, it's spacebar by default. Yeah. So I'm like, then I look for space, and then I see that it's mapped to jump. So if you're looking for alternate to boost forward on PC, go to the jump hotkey and then set the alternate fire to left alt or whatever you want to use. And then you boost forward as opposed to kind of like this upward trajectory.
So, and I want to talk about like why, the reason why you'd want to do that, Duane said right at the end, is that the boost pack is kind of interesting where sometimes it sends you up, sometimes it sends you forward. And so I find this so strange, but I'm glad somebody figured it out. So you have jump still mapped to spacebar, but then you also have it alternate mapped, right?
It's double function. So you first jump and then you hit spacebar a second time.
Yeah.
And then that's when you're boosting.
But you kind of boost up.
You boost up. And
Yeah,
so I've
by
been
default.
doing this like 1960s lunar landing space hop thing.
Yeah,
But
which can
now
be frustrating.
It
Yeah.
is, because it's like, I don't know if it's any faster. It doesn't feel faster than just sprinting,
Yeah.
which it probably isn't. But the forward boost
Yeah.
is. Oh, but you had explained something to me, which was new information for me, which was boost packs have alternate kind of specialties.
Yes,
right.
that's
So one
right.
has more upward trajectory.
Yep.
What are they called? Skipping and
So you've got the skip pack, which is more for forward trajectory. And I think that's why I didn't really worry about this button mapping.
right, because you had it as a booster that you could equip.
A skip pack for
Gotcha.
so long.
Yeah, sounds like my 5th grade lunch. Like, Mom, can you put the skip pack?
The skip pack, yeah, it's like a little
I like the
pudding.
skip pack. Give me the skip pack.
So the different types of boost packs are first basic. So that's just kind of it's well-rounded, but not a lot of power. Then you have balanced, which is the same as basic, but more power in each direction. So forward and up. Then you've got the power pack.
Okay.
So if you have the power pack, that's more for vertical jumping,
Nice.
more for going up.
Is there stuff I haven't seen yet, which is just like climb to the top of this oil rig type thing where you have to go up a lot?
I haven't seen.
There was that one Mars mission where you had to go up and plant the signal thing. You did have to do some vertical
Right.
boosting and get up on kind of ledges and stuff.
It is starting to make me think that it's good to have multiple packs, or at least 2. So, of course, the 4th one that I was getting to is the skip pack, which I mentioned, which is more for going further out, it's forward. And I'm starting to think that I need to keep my best skip pack and my best power pack so that when I, if I want to go forward or go up,
You know what they should have is first of all, they should have a Aurora, junkie pack. Whenever you need a boost,
that? Whenever
and then you
just injects it.
Straight
it
injection.
doesn't send you up or forward. It just goes right into your bloodstream.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then they should have the grav jump one. You just strap on the grav jump boost pack, and you can grav jump back to Gemini or
just never have your ship with. You never need your ship. You just
right.
Yeah,
and then you can add a cargo thing to it. Just stack on. You're like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle at that point with.
I wonder
shells and stuff.
See, that's okay. It's funny, but at the same time, they could eventually in another game or DLC have a plot line where people are developing tiny grav drives.
Well, I thought it would be cool. The reason why I thought of that is because it's like you see like the planets or moons or whatever in the distance. It'd be cool if you could just boost, and then start gaining speed and turn into Rocket Man essentially and just head straight for that. I can dream.
There would be in the game No Man's Sky. There would be planets that were like accidentally way too close together, and there's been some pretty interesting videos where somebody will jetpack from one planet to the other planet.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's precedence there.
Yeah.
Moving on to our own personal gameplay, what have you been up to in the world of Starfield?
Yeah, so I decided to focus on the main storyline, and that was mainly due to spoilers. I'm interested in news and things that are happening with the game, but inevitably you just, for instance, I was listening to, I think it was Core Gaming, which is a hugely successful podcast. They don't focus on Starfield, but they were talking about Starfield because that's what they're playing right now. And they just went into one spoiler after another. And I was like, oh my goodness. I literally had to turn it off, and I regretted getting that far into it because there was, and to be fair, it was kind of funny that the guy was complaining about a part of the storyline, but it was a big spoiler. So then I resolved to just go in and do the main storyline for my own edification, just because I wanted to be surprised about some things, and I'm very slow. I'm only at 21 hours. I'm at 21 hours and level 15. That's what it is.
Right.
So I'm taking it fairly slow.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've been focusing on. And then
there's such a difference in how people view what is and what isn't a spoiler.
Yeah.
And what's difficult is that this is a game. It's not a movie that you can watch in 2 hours and just be like, oh, did you see the movie or not?
Yeah.
Because are you playing Starfield? Yes, you are. But it's a huge open world that you are encouraged to go off the beaten path.
Yep.
And
that's my first 10 hours of gameplay was like just going all these different directions.
I honestly wish that I could have just played the game without rushing the main story. And I wouldn't say that I rushed it, but I definitely focused on the main story. And I wish we didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
But I got to say, I was watching a video on YouTube about Starfield, and the guy narrating literally says...
Wait, don't say it.
No, I won't say the spoiler. But no, he literally says, I don't want to get too spoilery. I'm just going to say blank. And then he said something
you son of a...
that I'm not kidding, Duane, was from one of the final missions.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
and then they go on
doing?
They always like justify right after, and they're like, well, you know, that wasn't really a spoiler, but because then they realize it was a spoiler. And,
it just drives me crazy because I'm like, no, you're saying information that you literally don't get until the end of the game.
There's some expectation that you're going to get spoiled unless you live in a bubble, I guess. So
which is unfortunate.
And to kind of get the silver lining of if you are spoiled on it, there are quite a few minor storylines that are very, very compelling.
Yes.
And I think that if you do get spoiled on the main one, chances are you're not going to get spoiled on some of the minor ones.
Right.
And those are great storylines. So
they are really
there's more
great
to get from the game than just the primary story.
So you're doing the main story.
Yeah.
How is that going for you?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm getting to know Sarah. I did try to flirt with her, and it went okay. And I was surprised to see that option because I didn't know that the game would be taking me there quite at that moment.
Yeah,
and
pretty early on. And
I just had the second option to flirt with her a second time. And since the first one didn't go so well, I decided to play the slow game because I do like her.
You're hanging back.
I'm hanging back a little, kind of waiting for the right moment to drop my epic game.
Yeah.
And
you're respecting her space.
Yeah. So
it's good.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I think that's becoming like the thing I'm more playing for now. I kind of know that I'm going to get some sort of space powers, right? Everybody knows that, right?
Yeah,
you've seen it in trailers.
They teased it even in the direct,
right?
Yeah.
So, like, I know that's kind of the end game of the main storyline, but what I'm actually caring about is kind of where this relationship goes and how the game is going to handle it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of fun.
It's interesting with these, all these characters have backstory that is given to you little by little as you get to know them.
I did want to say that it seems that they pick a very inopportune time to ask if they can have your attention. Hey,
yeah.
Blem. Oh, when you get a second, there's something I want to talk to you about. Okay, Blem. Wait, right now, like when we're in the middle of fighting like 25 space pirates?
It ends up being like very like unintentional comedy, like
like this. Where this is a very serious moment, and we're like, yeah.
When you get a second. When you have a moment, I'd like to speak with you.
And to be fair, they give you the option of like, hey, can we talk about this later?
Yeah.
Like, you can choose that in the dialogue box if you engage, which no one will, because once you start the dialogue, you're not going to choose that option because you've already initiated dialogue, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I don't know. I've never chose that option personally. So I'm like, why is this even?
Well, there was one time where I was focused on a certain mission and I already knew that there was a character that I wanted to take with me because I knew that they would be a help.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes you'll talk to them and they'll say, oh, thank you for agreeing with me to go help me with this thing. And then you'll get the message. This companion is now locked as your companion until you finish their quest.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And so there was one time where I was like, whoa. I wasn't agreeing to a quest.
It actually tries to switch you over to a different companion if you follow through the dialogue. Yeah. So if you're kind of more aware, you'll realize, oh, this is going to take me away from this companion if I continue on. So
in that instance, I actually had to reload a save. And then they were like, hey, I need to talk to you. And I was like, nope, we can talk later.
So that's been my kind of last week. How's gaming going with you on Starfield?
Well, now that I'm getting back to going around and doing these side missions, I have to say, to your point about some of these side stories being so good that maybe you won't get spoiled on those, I will say I did the UC Vanguard storyline.
Yeah.
And that storyline, to me, was so good. I was like, this could have been the main story of the game.
Really?
Like that's kind of how I felt about it. It was a compelling story, compelling characters, and it just was very interesting and like very eventful.
And you're happy to see that kind of effort's put into the side quests.
Yes.
And they're not just like these, we need a couple more things for the player to do. Like this was well written and well produced and fun.
Yeah. And I got to say, Ryujin was definitely, like, I don't think it's going to be my favorite. But
it's not going to make your top 5.
No, UC Vanguard is up there though. And it made me more excited to then do there's the faction quests for Aquila City, Freestar Collective. I have not touched that at all, but I'm excited for when that happens.
Thinking back to the animated trailers, just real quick.
Yeah.
In retrospect, like having gone through one of those side missions, which was featured in the trailer or in one of those animated trailers.
Yeah.
How does that compare?
Okay. Well, I actually shared an image with a friend so that has already played through it. And so I don't want to spoil anything, but I shared an image with him. And I said, wow, they actually made me feel like the dude
drinking the whiskey. So in retrospect, would you would put the whiskey down, or would you still stick to your guns and drink it like you said you would?
I was still down the rest of the whiskey.
Such a lush.
But yeah, I got I definitely got that feel.
Like you needed to get back out there.
Yeah, I got that feeling of like, all right, job well done, but what else is out there? So very cool. I like that. I'm now in the middle of some pirate stuff. It's interesting. They're not what I quite expected. The Crimson Fleet.
You're the worst pirate I've ever heard of.
But you have heard of me. Yeah. Again, I don't want to reveal too much, but I'll just say some of them are interesting characters. There's one character that is so annoying to me. That I'm just like...
You can kill them. You do realize this. And you're a pirate. So...
Hey, look. Okay. This character said some stuff to me. And I quick saved.
It's just
okay. And I just unloaded my big bang shotgun on this person. And of course, because there's still quests.
Right.
They just get
just
downed.
Ruined your whole...
Yeah.
Yeah. So you couldn't do that.
Can't kill them. No. But I will say this. Depending on how the game goes, I don't know for sure, but I think that I might be able to get this person arrested at the end of the road. I hope so. I hope so.
There's a reason why they made that person annoying, right?
There's
got to be some payoff.
It's got to be that. Yeah. Either I hope that they become a villain and I can kill them, or I can get them arrested and put in space prison forever.
Space prison.
You know what's funny? Is I'm not revealing who this person is. I know there are people listening right now that are like, yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
It's the annoying fan.
Yeah. Okay. I've got to tell you, this is a funny story and I wish I could give credit. I just saw it on Reddit. It was so funny and it was about the annoying fan. I don't personally have the annoying fan.
No.
Apparently, they were in the middle of a stealth mission. They were hiding, and the annoying fan said something like, "I've been waiting for the perfect moment to prove myself." And he pulled out a gun and started shooting enemies.
No way.
And ruined their stealth playthrough. That was so funny.
There's been so many spoilers for the annoying fan. It's almost like, but there's a lot of comedy written into that. I saw one where someone was shooting, so I won't say what he said, but you can imagine.
I'll say that they have perks or traits in this for the character creator that I never had any interest in. Okay, I was like, I don't want to do annoying fan.
I know where you're going with this.
I don't want to do the parents, it's called kid stuff and having the parents. And I have seen
the dream house, the mortgage.
So actually, Chris did the dream house.
Did she? Okay.
And actually kind of regrets it.
No way. Well, it's like 120 credits,
you
120,000.
You start with that mortgage.
But is the property cool?
Well, I'll say the property is very cool.
Yeah.
It is a very cool house, but it's not furnished. So like you have to basically do outpost building inside of that house as you go along. And the thing is, like, if you do some of these storylines, you're gonna get places to live.
Right. You're gonna pick up a few pieces of property along the way in your quests.
I've found a nice piece of property, and so it's just nice if you want to start out with a house, I guess.
I figured those kind of things would have some other kind of perk, though, right? Like, don't they have something? I mean, you get a house, which is a pretty awesome thing. Is that the only thing you get for it?
I think so.
Okay. I don't know.
Well, here's the other good thing is that house is in a system that doesn't scan for contraband.
Oh, so there's a little...
There's a little something. So if you want to be like, drug lord... start out with a nice mansion.
Space bags.
Take it, take the Aurora out. The other trait that I was going to mention is that with the parents. And so what's funny is that these parents actually show up in like some random places.
Of course they do. And I would be disappointed if they didn't.
And not only that,
right when you murder somebody, they're like, "Oh,
that would be hilarious."
Disappointed in you, or like, "Good for you, son."
Yeah. He's like, oh, he's got the killing instinct, just like his father.
On the outset, it seems like kind of an odd thing to get in a video game. Which is kind of cool in a way, because it's like you don't expect this to be in a video game, like a mortgage payment, right?
Yeah.
In a space RPG. But
that is the cool thing about the parents trait is that it is a new experience. Again, like you said, I've never seen a video game that's like, oh, here's your parents. You can go visit them and they'll come visit you. And like, that's so funny and crazy. Like, it's interesting. And I've actually, if you want to get kind of heartwarming about it, I read at least one comment where someone said that they didn't have a good relationship with their parents. And this was like a way for them to sort of have that.
I believe it. I think there's merit in healing through like a narrative experience. Like, that's why so many people love going to the movies. They get to like live in this escapism, and video games are interactive escapism. So absolutely, someone can get value out of that, and more power to them. Michael, we have a ton of listener feedback, so we're going to go through it real fast.
Yeah, on our YouTube channel, we've got some comments. One was from Casey Lambert.
Uh-oh.
I actually really loved this question. So Casey Lambert said that the Mantis quest, which I have not done yet.
You haven't done the Mantis? Like, everybody and their mom usually does that first.
And then I found
shocking.
Well, what's funny was I just read today someone said that you get a slate that says Secret Outpost. And I thought, wait, I have that. So I can go do this quest. But yeah.
Oh, you have the mission that starts it.
I have the mission that starts it.
You do. You get it right away.
I'll go do that. But
Space Batman.
Casey Lambert said that the Mantis quest was a game changer for me. I went from space scrub to galactic badass quick. What quests in Skyrim and Fallout were like that for y'all?
Yeah, great question, Casey.
Yeah. I thought this was a really fun question. And my answer would actually be the DLC for Fallout 3, Operation Anchorage.
Yes. What a great DLC that was.
It was a great DLC, and it completely changed like the way I played the game, because at the end you get the Chinese stealth suit and the sword. And I was like, oh, I am now Gray Fox from Metal Gear Solid.
Totally.
Like this for the rest of my playthrough. And it was. I
used that stealth suit basically throughout the whole rest of the game, because when I bought that Fallout 3, I bought all the DLCs. Like, I came in later after it was released. Right. And so I didn't even know that was a DLC. I just played through that mission in the game, and then I wore that stealth suit. And I actually didn't use the sword. I took the sword. Yeah. But I used, I think, just a sniper rifle of some kind.
Right.
And that's sneaking around and sniping people was awesome in that game.
That is it. And that's a great mix. Do you have a mission that comes to mind?
Yeah, I think I played a melee build in Fallout 4. And in that build, I saw a guide that recommended like top melee weapons. And so I picked up one of them. I think it's called Krem's Tooth. And I basically use that the rest of the game. I mean, in a melee build with your running around with Strong, he doesn't like power armor. So, and there's a loincloth that you can equip, which gives you
Grognak, the barbarian.
Yes. So there I am in my loincloth and my Krem's Tooth. And just, that was my tooth. It was great.
Yeah, you showed me a picture of Krem's Tooth.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen it before. I've played a lot of Fallout 4, but I've never seen that.
Yeah.
But what a great mix with that costume.
Mm-hmm. It goes with the loincloth, for sure.
Yeah.
Very barbaric.
So Practice Dummy Gaming actually reached out to us. They were looking for a podcast related to Starfield. They found us. Really appreciate you listening. They said that they are a veteran of The Witcher 3, Mass Effect series, some Souls-like games. Coming from those games, it definitely makes sense that they're a fan of Starfield.
It does indeed. Yeah, and they said that they were playing from the cloud on Chromebook, and we've heard there's been a few issues for some people using it from the cloud. Maybe that was on Xbox, not on
Maybe
PC.
from Xbox, yeah.
Because it was over, 10 million users. I don't know if they were prepared for that many people, and some of them trying to, play it, stream it from the cloud or whatever.
I have to say, I often forget that xCloud is an option. If you don't have access to a Series X yet, and you don't have, a PC that will run the game on its own, you can then just access it on xCloud. Like, it's such a great option for people that can't get it a different way.
Gavalanche left a great comment. They said they're loving the Starfield content and that they are making their character a space cowboy. And they wanted to know if we hoard any miscellaneous items. Do you hoard anything?
Yes.
Miscellaneous stuff? You were saying you collect
the plushies.
Yes, the plushies. I have not found one yet. I don't know if I'm...
Oh, wow.
None.
Yeah. I mean, they just pop up kind of in random places. But when you see one, you'll know because they're very colorful.
I think I might have gotten one in the kids' bedroom in the bottom of the lodge.
Yeah.
Isn't there one in there? Like, there was something in there that was...
I
like
wouldn't
a stuffed
doubt
animal
it.
or something. Yeah. Maybe that was the one I did get. Someone made a coffee mug collection.
I saw that.
Just coffee mugs they've collected.
I was trying to stage this photo. So in one of the missions, there was this dude that had been killed, and he's just, his dead body's like on this console. And then next to him is a coffee mug that says Mondays. Am I right? It's so good.
He was posed like the Family Guy when they fall off the building, and the legs and arms are all twisted up.
Yeah. And then we had Raven Blackwood saying they popped over to the channel from the podcast.
Nice.
Now, Raven took 5 days off of work and got
I love it.
60 hours into Starfield. Just
a video game vacation.
I
am totally behind that. If I wasn't married and had kids, I would 100% do that. Unfortunately, they demand that we go to Disneyland and places like that. So
there's
do it while you can, Raven.
That's right. And finally, Jessica Starr popped over with a comment and kind of called us out, or I should say, called Duane out.
Well, she's correct. Like, there's merit to buying ammo. I said buying ammo was for suckers. Yeah, I was kind of joking. I just don't personally do it because I don't need specific ammo. Right. Shotgun ammo is fairly plentiful. Yeah. And then I had the one, I gotta figure out what the weapon is that I gave to Sarah, but all I needed was one round for her. And I'm good there. So I haven't had to buy that. I did look at how expensive it was to buy though on that particular ammo. And I was like, no way, I'm not spending this amount of credits for that. So.
But Jessica Starr has a point because I am getting to the point where I'm carrying so many weapons, and it does make me think, man, should I just pick two of my favorite weapons and then I have no problem buying ammo? Mm-hmm. I will say I do run out of ammo on other guns, but my main gun, the Big Bang, it's a shotgun. It's like an energy weapon shotgun. Mm-hmm. I cannot run out of ammo for this thing, which is a good problem to have, but it's kind of crazy. How do I keep finding this ammo? Like, it's kind of weird.
I think the game knows, and it drops or places like what is weapon you're using the most, and then it sprinkles it in the game to like make it more fun, because it is frustrating if you find a weapon you love and you're just not getting the ammo drops that you want. Yeah, try it. Like, my theory is you switch to a laser weapon, you start finding tons of laser ammo and whatever. Switch to a shotgun, you start finding shotgun shells, etc.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Once again, thanks to everyone that listens on Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. And thanks to you guys watching on YouTube, as always. And the links are provided in the show notes below. And extra special thanks to all the people that leave a comment, Michael.
Yeah.
We really love that.
It's really fun.
Yeah. We love to read them, and then we delete them and pretend like they're not there. No, not really. Yeah, leave us a 5-star review if you can on Apple. That helps. All right. Well, thanks for traveling the Starfield with us, and make sure you subscribe because we'll be back for more next week, Michael.
Yep. And we will see you then.
Yep. Bye.